Welcome to Movement Charts. Hope you all staying warm. Looking at SPY, as we saw in the last week's video, it broke down below this rising wedge channel on Tuesday, but then it pulled back on Wednesday. Currently it is sitting right below the previous week's closer. Good thing is price is reclimbed above 20 EMA on daily time frame. Also we need to note that we have an inside bar on Friday. Both Thursday and Friday were just consolidating, and Friday we formed an inside bar. We have a FOMC rate decision and press conference next week Wednesday, and we have tech earnings also, so the market will be volatile on either side. We have liquidity on both the sides. Currently the reverse and filled this gap formed on Tuesday. Looking at the weekly time frame, we had a nice green candle after the drop on Tuesday, but we still closed below previous week opening price. Suppose if this was a red candle, we can say it is a evening start, but now we collected liquidity below all the support levels. We closed right below the previous week's opening. Looking at the monthly time frame, after this massive move to the upside, we are now seeing small candles, a pin bar, a doji, and so far doji on this month, and we are little away from the 20 EMA on monthly. So either we will consolidate for a few more weeks on this range for the EMAs to catch up, or we may come and collect the liquidity on these gaps like we did last time. For now, on the daily time frame, we just fill this gap formed on Tuesday and have inside bar on Friday session. Looking at Microsoft, as we discussed last week, price took a support at this previous resistance area. To retest this 20 EMA on daily time frame. We are still on a downtrend. 20 EMA below 200 EMA, and the price is still below both 200 and 20 EMA. We have overhead resistance, and price got rejected on this fair value gap. We have this trend line resistance also. For a bullish case scenario, it has to break this lower high to change the character, and we can look for a bullish opportunity at this inverse fair value gap or at this demand zone. If we continue seeing rejection at this various fair value gap or this supply zone, then the price may come and retest this unmitigated gap and this trend line support, the major trend line support. Looking at the weekly time frame, yes, so it took a support from this previous resistance level and from this fair value gap. Looks like a piercing candle. Let's see. It's not a piercing candle, it is still below the 50% of this previous red candle. We just filled this gap. Looking at a monthly looks nice. Tested this previous resistance and it took a support at the 20 EMA on monthly time frame. We have one more week to go and we have earnings on next Wednesday. So if all goes fine and if we break above this trend line and if we form a high, if we break above this lower high, then we can look for bullish opportunities at the retracement. But for now the price is retesting this fair value gap resistance and we have a supply zone and the price is below 200 EMA and 20 EMA. Also the 20 EMA is below 200 EMA. Moving on to Meta. And yes, Meta also, as we discussed in our previous video, it took support at this fair value gap and had more than 7% move. Meta is looking interesting because it earlier formed an fair value gap and now it is taking support at that fair value gap. Looks like it is a higher low, but we still don't see a breakup structure yet, though we see it on the lower time frame. So but it looks interesting because we are seeing this reaction exactly at the golden pip levels, 61.8%. It will even look better if we come and test this gap. Looking at the weekly time frame, yeah, we got a nice green candle with 6% upside, engulfing completely the previous week's red candle. If you look closely, we had this downside move and we got this nice engulfing candle. Price went and rejected this bearish fair value gap. But that gap did not form any lower low. And price reacted well at this demand zone on the weekly time frame and formed a bullish engulfing, confirming that bulls are dominating this level. Looking at monthly, pull down again into this fair value gap and tested this 20 EMA. So if you close above this resistance, this is on weekly time frame, so if you close above this resistance and if you come back and retest, that will be a good opportunity. But we still have this unmitigated gap to consider. Meta looks good because it did not, this rejection at this fair value gap did not cause any lower low, and we are seeing bulls reaction at this fair value gap. Look at RSI. This is also one kind of RSI divergence. So though the price is not below this previous low, but it's still got a support from RSI 30 at this FEG zone. It's a hidden bullish RSI divergence. Looking at Netflix, so as we discussed in last week's video, the earnings caused the drop right into that support level, and now we are seeing a reaction from that level, and RSI also regained about 30%. Last two times at this level it formed a higher high and then jumped again, so we may expect the same from this level also. So far the price is still in a downtrend. Price is below 20 EMA to 200 EMA, and 20 EMA is way below 200 EMA. One thing is 200 EMA, the downside is way above, so we may get this support to retest this 200 EMA to form a lower high. For now the price is trading on this falling wedge pattern. We have a gap here, we have resistance at 91, and we have this trend line resistance also. So let's see what kind of pattern is forming at these zones in the coming days. Price took support at these levels where it took support last two times, and RSI is right around 30% on a weekly. So Netflix may take support at this area to form a lower high at least. Looking at CoreWeave, as we discussed last week, price is coming and retesting this neckline. So if we see a green candle like this here, breaking this bull flag on the lower time frame, we may advance to 120 area to retest this resistance. Even on a weekly time frame also, it is retesting this breakout. Though we saw a retracement, we still closed above the 50% of previous week's candle. It's monthly, so far it looks like Morningstar. Let's see how it ends next week. So if you close anywhere between in this area next week, the monthly candle will be typical Morningstar. Anywhere between this up upside wick. If we close above anywhere between this upside wick, it will look like a morning star. Especially if you close above this 99.66, which is the 50% of this November month bearish candle. So far looking good because the price came down to retest this neckline and took a support at that area as well as the 20 EMA. Looking at Venture Global VG, we discussed last week. This also price retraced on Tuesday, but it did not come and retest this level. It formed a doji candle and then it advanced from there. So from last week, we saw 12% upside this week. We have a resistance, fair value gaps. Looking at the monthly time frame, looks awesome so far. Grab the liquidity below this. I did not form any lower low. It looks to me a very nice double bottom so far on the monthly time frame. So any retracement to the support levels on the coming weeks will be a nice opportunity. Looking at target had a nice upside move and broke this lower high or this double bottom on a larger time frame. Before breaking this larger time frame double bottom, it also broke this lower time frame double bottom and retested that area with morning star, which advanced and broke this double bottom on larger time frame. Now we are seeing a similar morning star pattern at that support level. This morning star right at 20 EMA and 200 SMA caused upside move from 96.7 to 112. This morning star also was testing this lower time frame double bottom neckline. Now we are seeing a similar kind of morning star pattern on this higher time frame neckline breakout. Higher time frame neckline breakout as well as add to the EMA. We also have this trend line support 1, 2, 3. Price is trading above 20 EMA and 200 SMA. 20 EMA is above 200 SMA, which is a typical bullish trend. Looking at weekly, we broke out of this double bottom formation. Now we are retesting. Looking at the monthly time frame, monthly time frame looks even interesting because the price is now at this larger time frame uptrend support as well as took a double bottom at the 200 SMA on monthly time frame. Look, when we had the support on 200 SMA monthly time frame the last times, we had nice up moves from there. Now we tested the same 200 SMA monthly time frame with a double bottom. Take a retracement from this previous lower low. We are seeing this double bottom reaction at this golden pips ones between 61.8% and 78.6%. You see, when I add this top, it had a double top with various candles. So now we are seeing a double bottom with bullish candles. Looks to me that target will break this downtrend this time with all these supports. So yes, it changed the trend on the lower time frame, especially on daily time frame and weekly. And on the daily time frame, it is currently on the uptrend as price is trading above 200 SMA and 20 EMA, and 20 EMA is above 200 SMA.